Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn, and I'm glad you're here. Today, we have a few things to cover. If you watched my last video, I told you that it would be a continuation, and it is. It is the same day. It's a bit later. Not quite as late as I was going to, but after I did my last video, I realized I had plans this afternoon, and it is Thursday was my brother-in-law's birthday, so we're actually going out to eat this afternoon for his birthday, and I won't be able to film it later, so I get to film it earlier. So, as you saw in my thumbnail, I have some makes, but first I have to introduce you to the newest machine, I suppose, to welcome into my little cubby. Now I have my singer, I have my brother, and this is another brother, but this is my serger. Now, if you remember, if you've been here a little bit, you might remember me talking about it before Christmas, or around Christmas time, that, you know, I told my family and anybody that would listen that I needed the sewing machine, but I also, if they didn't want to do that, I would want a serger too, or one or the other, you know what I mean. So my husband bought me Bella. You know, y'all have seen Bella. Y'all know how good the new machine is, and I'm loving it. But didn't get the serger. But it was more of, I wasn't pushing that as much as I was to get the sewing machine, because I really did need the sewing machine, because my singer's just, there's some things going on with it. I don't know if I'm going to have someone check it out, or if it's something that I might be able to watch some videos and try to fix. But anyway, the serger, I wasn't 100% sure I just wanted it, or actually needed it. And I hesitate to say the word need, because it's not. I can do some things on my sewing machine that I can do with the serger. But the serger does more, and it will open up more avenues for me. Like the hoodie that I made for my grandson that is going to end up going to my great-nephew. That would have been so much easier on the serger, because I could have sewn them together and did the overlock stitch or the zigzag stitch on this machine at one time, and then it could cut off the excess. Now, this puppy, alright, so I gave my daughter-in-law an example, or a comparison rather, and I said, this one is like a monster truck compared to a Lamborghini. This one is loud and aggressive and just all up in there. This is, it has more finesse. And it's so funny, because this morning I was using my sewing machine after using the serger, and it was like, wow. The sensory thing is night and day. A monster truck to a Lambo. Because it's just phenomenal how smooth and quiet this baby is compared to this one. But they both have their uses. And I actually got this right after we found out that the remaining about 300 and some odd stores were closing, mine included. So before they put us in full liquidation, this was still at a decent price. And I got it with my discount and everything, I got it cheaper than I could get it anywhere else. Because I sent the picture to my husband and I said, this is the price. This is my price. And he said, can you get it anywhere any cheaper? And I said, I don't know. And this was all going on while I was at work. So I said, can you check for me? Because I knew that when I found out about the liquidation that the prices were going to go stupid. I knew that from the first 533 stores. So I was like, can you check for me? And it was probably about another hour and a half. I didn't hear from him, so I checked back in with him, and he said, yeah, just go ahead and get it, because he didn't know enough about the models and stuff to see if there was a direct comparison, but he couldn't find anything cheaper than I could get this one at work. So I said, okay. Now keep in mind, the day I bought this, we had 7 in stock. So it wasn't a fear of mine that I would lose it if I didn't buy it that day. It was I don't know when they're going to go into the liquidation mode and change prices fear. 3 days later, we had none of these in stock because I think everybody else figured out the same thing. And most of the time it was we see what's happening in these other stores that got liquidated first, and we don't want that to happen. So, if only I had thought about that for some of the fabric and some of the yarn, but I didn't. This puppy took all of my attention, but it's well worth it. Now, I have seen, I think Walmart has one for, hang tight, I'm going to find out. I should have done this before I got on my video, but I apologize. Let's see. What is this? This is a 1634 DX. Now, okay, so Walmart has this for $225, which is not bad. Amazon, $279. So, I got it for significantly cheaper than that. So I'm glad I went ahead and bit the bullet, and my husband was of the same mind, and to be able to get that, and so I was really excited for that. And since I have made reusable paper towels, I'm doubly glad. Now, these are only single layers. I wasn't specific about that the last time I showed them than when I did them on my sewing machine. But for now, these are single layers. And I do love how that serger has done the edges on this. You can see it on the back too. Now, this is the first ones I made. Because any machine, there's a learning curve. For one machine to the next may not be the same, and the features may not be the same, or it's just like a car. You can have 2 cars on the lot, and they both drive a little differently. I don't know why. So this is the very first one I did. And you can see it's a little wonky, especially that corner. Because I didn't want to have a whole lot of ends to weave in. So I was trying to do it on the curve, right? Well, it didn't work so well. And this was the very first thing I did on this new machine. So I was kind of intimidated by the knife on this. Because my hand was getting a little close up there to that knife. So I know why this came out a little wonky, but I was also not willing to waste, and none of it's going to waste because I'm going to keep these right here, and the others are going to my daughter-in-law. So I said, well, to keep my finger away from the knife, we're going to go straight for, 4 straight lines, right? So I did that, and I ended up doing 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 total. 8 straight and 1 curved. Well, I was sitting here watching a podcaster and weaving in these 4 corners of stitch, serger stitching. And it took me almost, I want to say, an hour maybe for serging these, and maybe about an hour and a half. Yeah, because it was an hour and a half. Yeah. So for serging them and sewing in that was an hour and a half. And I'm like, that is way too long. If I'm going to end up selling these, I mean, it'd be different if I just did this occasionally and, for gifts and whatnot. So I was like, nope. I'm going to have to do a curve. Because on the curve, you only have one end to weave in, right? So I was like, nope. We're going to do it this way. So that's when I got out my next fabric and started again. Now these are the one that's going to go to my daughter-in-law. And they're not perfect, but by the time I did 12 of these, by the time I was done, I felt like an old pro at this. I was like, okay, we can do this. So she gets 12 new paper towels. And it's so funny because I was like, me and you. She actually likes these too, so, I might have to make her some in that. Or I could just switch. I could give her these, and I could keep these. It don't matter. Because, I have some. I don't know. But, now, I have not washed these. But what I may do, because there will be a little bit of shrinkage, so what I may do from here on out, now that I know what my mind is going to do with these and being more comfortable with the serger, I may pre-wash all my flannel before I cut it and serge it so that any shrinkage won't affect it. It's not so bad with these because these are personal ones. They're not. I'm so sorry. So they're not going up for sale. And it doesn't matter if they shrink a little bit, right? So we're going to go with that and go pre-wash them, get it done, and then that way, it should be okay. The ones I showed y'all in my last video, the Monday video, which I just recorded not long ago. I should just be able to pop all of those in the washer together and just wash and dry all of those. I can't be tired now. We still got to go out to eat. So, I'll be able to get some. Now, I don't know. And this is where I could use y'all's opinion. Now, I know this won't air till Thursday. So I won't be able to get your answers until then. But like I said, I this week's kind of, it's stacking up on things I got to do. So mainly using that cloth, that once I get my tags in and making some more bags, especially with that blue flower fabric. Sorry. Anyway, I do not mean to keep yawning. I really don't. I'm just getting very tired. But it is what it is. So once I get those bags made, these will have been washed and dried. So this is what I was going to ask your opinions on. Should I start with just single layers like these? Or should I double them up? I guess the question I'm asking is, which way would be better to start with on my website? Because eventually I would like to offer single and double ply. Because, you know, for like paper, for napkins and stuff, you don't really need a double ply. You would just need a single, you know. And that would work just fine for a napkin. But if you were cleaning, or you're wiping up spills and all that, you might want the double, the 2 ply. So, what do y'all think? Should I start off with offering both, or should I start off with the single first, or start off with just the double? These maybe I'm too tired to make this decision, and that's why I'm asking. I don't know, but I'd love your feedback on it. Now, you saw where I lined my other bag, my spring fling bag with the wooden handle. I'm so sorry. If I'm making you yawn, I'm so sorry about that. Ugh. I need caffeine, but I've already had my Mountain Dew for the day, and yeah. But anyway, so when I'm thinking of that spring fling bag, remember I told you that I was worried about sewing it with the sewing machine because I would have to change out my bobbin for different colors. Well, on this bag, I didn't have to worry about that because I had this as the liner. I mean the trim, right? So I had a solid color. And I did it with my sewing machine. So I sewed it in with my sewing machine. And I just used my white for my main thread and then yellow for my bobbin thread. And you can't see it. Look at there. See? But you can't see the thing on the back. Or on the outside. So I think what I'm going to do is, with this bag, I wasn't worried so much about the edge where I bound it off. Okay, what did I do with that? Hold on. I have to find my... Well, I don't know what I did with it. And y'all forgive my hair. I told you I colored it. And the conditioner makes it look so... ugh. But once I wash it again, it'll be fine. It is not dirty. It is clean. It's just from me coloring it. Now, I can't find where I put my tags. Because I ordered them from Birch and Cider. And I have them, I had just got another little container for them. Oh. Wait a minute. Here they are. Okay. Alright. Sorry about all that. Anyway. So, this right here is I have two different colors. From Birch and Cider. I ordered 10 at a time just so that I could see if I liked them. And I do. I love them. And I originally thought I was just going to use these on my market bags, but I can use them on these little spring fling bags too. Not necessarily on the other ones with the wooden handles, but I don't know. Now that I've done this handle, I might do more like this. So I have two different colors. I have a light brown and a gray. See? With my little logo on it. And I was thinking about putting it, I think I lost my spot. I'm losing my mind over here. So, you know, you see where you bind off that last stitch? So it's going to cover that anyway. But the question is, oh no. I don't know what color to do. Actually, after seeing both of them side by side, yes I do. So, I'll show you side by side. I think I'm going to go with the light brown. I think the gray is too much. Yep. I think the light brown would look better. But for some reason, I thought this would be the opposite. I'm going to have to look back at their site because I thought that the daybreak would be up here, you know. I don't know. Is this right? Y'all tell me. Because my brain doesn't seem to be firing on all 8 cylinders today. So y'all tell me what you think. Or is the logo upside down? Or is it supposed to be like that so that when others see it, they see it this way? One of those days. But anyway, I may just do that and... But I'm definitely, like I said, I'm going to use the dark brown, the light brown. Not the dark brown. I do want to get dark brown. I want to get these, I want to have these 3 colors. And they also have like a white or cream. I might do that too. I don't really envision me, and oh, I got this from work. It's a handy little thing. It fits these little baggies perfectly. See? I have 2 of them just in case I get some more. But this will be primarily for these kind of tags. And my other purple one will be for my sew-in tags. Sew-on tags. Sew-in, sew-on. I don't know. But anyway. I will put this on in a minute. Sorry again. It's not stopping. It's like, come on. Anyway. Yes, and my bangs are getting... I have to cut them. They're too long and they're getting in my face. But I love how this little bag turned out. And I'm calling it my mini Spring Fling, or my Spring Fling Mini. Now this is by Crochet Dreams. I'll link that down below. I didn't use her pattern. The only thing I did was for the base of the bag, and then I decided to do my handles and trim and all like I do for the mesh bags, which that pattern came from Stephanie Zed. But I like how this turned out, and it's the perfect size. Okay, so the reason I made this is because my Spring Fling bag sometimes can get a bit big, right? Especially if I don't really want to carry around a lot of stuff. So rather than putting my hairbrush into this bag, because someone has already asked if I'm going to make it available for sale on my website. And yes, I will let this one go. But I'm definitely making more, and I'll probably make one for myself, because that was the reason behind this bag. I wanted something that if I just wanted to take my wallet and pretend this is a brush, I wasn't going to put my brush in there with someone else's stuff, but seeing as how it's going to be sold. But that is perfect. That just holds it just pretty. And, you know, it'll hold on your arm too. You slap it over there. Or you can do it like I do a lot of times and just put it on your arm. But with this, I made a long enough handle, just like I do with the market bags. I chained 75 for each handle, so it worked perfect. And I love this. I love how this came out. And I'm super glad that I was able to sew the lining with my sewing machine. And I put my speed on the slowest one so that I didn't rush the machine and it didn't break the needle. And that machine took it went through sewing it like butter. I mean, just floored me on how good it was. And yes, I keep some of this in my purse because my skin gets super dry. So I am going to put this up on the website. I may go ahead and get the photographing and listing and all done today, but it probably won't go live until, I could make it go live the day I release this video, which will be Thursday. So yeah, so if you want it, it will be available. And it's you know, I'm sorry that the other one wasn't, but Brandy said she wanted that. She wanted first dibs to buy that one, so I'm going to let her have first dibs. If she changes her mind, I'll put it on my website, but you know. Okay, so my last make thing, and the reason I saved this for last is because I'm conflicted. Alright, so I know I told y'all that I was working on that other t-shirt, the cat mint, right? Well, and I am, and I'm excited about it because of the colorway. But then I'm running into a problem. Yes, I use my own bags. Well, I'm the reason I started making the bags, for me. I just happened to really enjoy it and started selling them. Okay, so I started the cat mint, and I cast on for the back, okay? Look at that color. Isn't that beautiful? I hope you can see it, because it's... Alright, let me move my bag over here so I can... Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Yes, the stitches are... Oops. My needle's going through there. The stitches are a little uneven. You know, that all does out in blocking. But I pick this up and put this down so often. I know my stitches aren't going to be uniform. But, you know, like I said, blocking takes that out. Now, I do love this. This is that K&C cotton from Joann that I don't know that they even have anymore, because apparently, I didn't know it, but it had been discontinued or clearanced, and you know, with them in bankruptcy and closing us down, I seriously doubt we're going to carry it anymore anyway. But it's that KC cotton, and this is the cyan swirl, I think. Pretty sure. Actually, did I put the label in my bag? No. I just have the cake. Ah, my cake is dribbling. Let me tell you. I already had to detangle this once from the store. Okay, because like I told y'all, people just handle it and twist it all up and mess it up, and so I detangled it once and then I caked it up. Well, while I was working on the back, it started pulling a lump from the top, which it was pulling it from the bottom here that got loose, and it pulled it up through the center and it was tangling it up. And I was like, no, 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 no. So when I had to cut and put it on a stitch holder, so I put it on my little Temu stitch holder thing, so that I could start for the front shoulder, right? I was like, well, while I have it cut and disconnected, I'm going to recake the yarn. And let me tell you, 2.5 hours later, I finally got it caked up because it was so tangled up. That core just got in there and tangled into a hot mess. Now, I probably should have caked it from the outside, but that would have required, if I would have pulled it from the outside and just avoided the cluster that was in the middle that was all knotted up, it would have probably been easier. But the problem with that is, in order for the colors to keep following like they should, I would have had to recake it again, pulling from the inside. No, pulling from the outside again to make, yes. If you've ever caked backwards, you know what I'm talking about. So I was like, no, I'm just going to fight with it, and I'm going to, get it untangled. So I'm hoping that this dribble won't turn into something that's horribly tangled again. And I've been keeping it in this little Ziploc baggie so that it would avoid being, almost using it like a yarn cozy, so it would avoid that exact problem. But for some reason, when I do it, it tries to grab, it gets caught up in here, and it just keeps a hold of it. So I don't know. But yes, I have my little handy dandy Notions tin in there. Now, this is why I say I love this yarn. I love the way the colors are playing out over here on the back. And I always thought I've never cared about color pulling when it happens in the wild, so to speak. But I'm not liking this. This is color pulling on me, and I'm not crazy about it. So I'm sitting here knitting away. Like I said, once I gave up on having to be able to be out in the field helping my son and my daughter-in-law, and not being able to stand out there or even to help my other son with the car, I came in here and was hanging out with my grandson. I wasn't paying attention, I'm paying attention to him, and he's playing some Mario Kart Odyssey or Mario Party Odyssey, one of the two. Something Mario Odyssey. And, I'm interacting with him, not paying attention, just knitting away, okay? And then I actually looked down at my work, and I seen it color pulling, and I'm like, oh, I don't like it to color pull. So, and I was doing German short rows on this too for the shoulder. So I'm probably going to have to pull this back out. Because, now I would leave it if by chance the other shoulder, when I got around to it, because it's going to sit like this on me. So it's going to sit like this. So if I knew 100% that this shoulder would color pull in the same way, I may be inclined to leave it as a design feature. But there's no guarantee that it's going to pull the same way. And I would hate to do it. Okay, so I could do a couple things here. I could rip this out and use 2 balls, because I have others caked up in this. So I could use another ball and just alternate rows, right? To where it would break up the color pooling. Or I could use that other ball that I would use for this. Instead, I could do it over here and see if the color pool will be the same. And if it is, do I like it? And if I don't, I will have to rip out 2 front shoulders worth of work. But I also don't want to have to switch back and forth, because I'm going to be picking up stitches for the arm and for the neck on these front shoulder panels. So I don't know about switching balls of yarn and then going back and picking up stitches, because I don't know what the sides would look like with me having to carry the yarn. Because I would do every other row. One ball, one row, the other ball, the next row. What you think? Dilemmas, dilemmas, dilemmas. Now, had I chosen a solid color, which I don't have any solid color in this KC yarn, but had I chosen a solid color for this, it probably would have been better. It probably would have. But I wanted this, because this is beautiful, right? I can't be the only one that thinks this is gorgeous. Now, I do have a vanilla swirl. Would that be too much to add a white with these swirls in it? With these neons? But the base be white instead of cyan? Because I could make it one white swirl, one cyan swirl, one white swirl, one, yeah. Or am I getting a little too freaky on that? So, unfortunately, this one might have to take a time out, which bothers me, because this is what I take. This is one of the projects, or a project like this is what I take to work, so that while because I've told y'all I get there 30 minutes early, just so I can do some knitting and crochet before I start my day. But last week this went with me. But if it's on hold until I make a decision, then I can't take it with me. Nah. Then I'll have to start another project. Which, to be fair, I finished my crochet with my spring fling bags. So, I don't have a current crochet project, because I was making the bandanas. I could do more bandanas, or I could make another spring fling mini, because there's some colors up there, and I'm looking at my rack. There's some colors up there I'd love to combine in a bag. So I might do that. Yeah, I think I might do that. Make one of the, I can just take a couple balls with me. One for Monday and one for Tuesday. Well, one ball should do for Monday. And then Tuesday I can take another ball for a different color. So yeah, I think I might do that. Yeah. So, I think what I'm going to do, I'll go ahead and get that sorted so that way I don't have to worry about it in the morning. Which, normally this is my bag that I take to work with my little dewy thing. So I'll have to pop out one of these other bags. Not like I don't have enough, right? We know I do. We definitely know I do. So, I'll get that done, and then I guess we'll get ready and go out to eat for my brother-in-law's birthday. As long as we don't have any more storms coming through, because this morning was rough. I mean, I was hoping to sleep in a little, and it didn't happen. Oh, I got something else from work. I got a wind chime. you can't hear it right now because for some reason this window is blocking a lot of sound. I don't know how. I can hear it sitting in my... I can see the wind chime from my window here. When I'm in my living room, it's a good 15, 20 feet away. But this is probably about 10 feet away. And I can't hear it here, but I can sit in my recliner in my living room and hear it. But I am missing some sealing around some door seal. Not the wood part, but the foam part that makes it weather stripping. The weather stripping, that's what I'm trying to think of. So that might be why I hear it more in my living room. But I bought that because, you know, over the years when we were growing up, my mom moved us around so much. But sometimes she would think about it and buy just a little cheap wind chime. And I'd love to hear it, especially at night. And I'd go to sleep listening to it. Well, Jennifer's at Cinnamon Stitches, hearing her wind chimes in the back made me crave it even more. You know, made me just want to have wind chimes again. I haven't had it my entire adult life. But it just, you know, it brought my mom to my mind. And I was like, you know what? I really want to get me some wind chimes. So when we got those in for spring, beyond thinking we don't need spring decor in a craft store, but I heard her putting them out. I'm sitting here doing all my orders and stuff, and I heard her putting out the wind chimes, and I was like, wow, those are so loud. And then I heard this one. This one, the one that I ended up buying, was the loudest of the bunch. And unfortunately, I don't like green. I've told y'all this. It is green. But the medallion at the bottom is the Tree of Life. And I'm all for that. So I was like, you know what? It doesn't have to be pretty. If worse comes to worse, I could paint the cylinders another color. But after I got it home, I was like, no, that might dampen the sound. Because let me tell you, that thing is not as loud outside as it was. Sorry. It's not as loud outside as it was in the store. And my daughter-in-law was like, yeah, Miss Lynn, because it doesn't have it doesn't have something to bounce the sound off of. And I was like, yeah, good point. So, with me not having a roof over my porch, that might be why there's nothing for that sound to really bounce off of. It's just swaying and it's I can barely hear it, and y'all know I'm deaf anyway. So what I might end up doing is, so that I can hear it instead of just seeing it, I might crack my window just the slightest little hair so that I'll be able to hear it. Because I'm in here working in my cubby more than I'm in my recliner these days, especially since I'm on the machine, or machines, now that I have two. And that brings another point. I've got to move out of my cubby space. I'm outgrowing it way too quick. So my original plan was either A, to close in my back porch so I could use it as my craft room. And then I thought, no, that might not give me enough room. So I was going to use my son's old bedroom, which is being used for storage. So I'd still have to close in the porch and then move everything out of my son's old room and put it in on the porch as storage, and then move in there. And my daughter-in-law was like, but what if it doesn't give you the room you think it's going to give you? And I'm like, yeah, it should, you know. So she was looking at these metal storage buildings for outside. And I was like, I don't know about that. That would be kind of hot. But to be fair, I could put a window unit, because the one she was looking at has windows. Unfortunately, me and her figured out that those windows don't open. They're just pretty. So I would have to cut a hole in the wall to put the AC in, which would be fine. I wouldn't have a problem with that. And the thing I liked about it is because it had the transparent clear panels on the roof. So I would have my own sunroom or my own skylights, so to speak. But the problem with that, there's problems with both scenarios. Now, I could spend the money and close in my back porch, which I'm a DIYer, so it would probably be me and my daughter-in-law, or me and my sons, or me, my sons, and my daughter-in-law. It don't matter. We could get the whole family in on it and get that done, but it will cost money in materials. And so with the storage building. So either way, I'm going to have to spend some money. Now, I don't know. It would probably be, if I did the back porch just for storage, I could use board wood all the way to the ceiling, and I wouldn't have to have the windows that I was going to put in if I used it as a craft room. Because if I used it as a craft room, only the bottom half would be wooden and the top half would be windows, so that I would have this entire view. And yeah, that would have been glorious. But y'all know I like the sunshine, obviously, or I wouldn't be looking at buildings that have transparent panels on the top and all that fun stuff. So I'm still up in the air of which avenue I want to go. And I showed the storage building to my husband, but that puppy is like $599. And then I'd still have to build a wooden base. So it's probably going to be about $1,000 to do that. But, and it's a 10 by 12, not a 10 by 14. My son's old room is a 10 by 14, not a 10 by 12. So I would be losing a couple feet if I went the storage building route. But if I went the storage building route, I could leave like this wardrobe that has a lot of my yarn in it. I could leave it in here. It wouldn't have to go to the storage room. To the storage building. But it would allow me to have space for my machines and possibly a counter height cutting table in the center. Because what I was thinking about if I were to move into my son's room is elevate this to counter height. Just, make some stands for the legs to raise it up. And that would be so much better on my back. And then I could either have another 6-foot table for the two machines, or two little desks in a L shape in the corner like this. Like have one machine on this one and then get another one like this, so that again, that will cost money. So it's a matter of trying to decide which way I want to go more. I don't know. So I'm going to put my husband's brain to work and get his opinion and see what he thinks. Because right now, my little cubby is about, I think me and my daughter-in-law said it was 8 by 10 right here. So it's very small space. Very small space. And that wardrobe takes up a lot of it. That wardrobe is 4.5 feet wide. Maybe. Might even be bigger than that. It's the one my mother-in-law and father-in-law gave us before she passed away. And it comes off, it's about, I want to say about 24 to 30 inches deep. So that takes up that thing takes up a lot of real estate. It's beautiful, and it's so handy to hold all that yarn. But it's definitely, it can stay in this space. I don't think that I could, it's so heavy, I don't think I could move it anyway. So it'll probably stay in this space regardless whether I move into my son's old room or I get a storage building. So that's probably more information than y'all ever wanted to know about my crafting space. I'm lucky to have the cubby that I have, but I have kind of outgrown this area, and I do need more space because I have to move my machines to be able to cut, and it would be nice to. So I went from my dining room table or my kitchen table to where I had to move my machine and my cutting and all that every time I wanted to do something, to being a little spoiled and wanting more because I have my cutting and my sewing space stationary now to where I don't have to put everything up and take everything out every time I want to do it. But I kind of am now at this point because I don't want to have to put up both of my machines to cut. Now, she kind of tucks in over here to the side, which is just a matter of picking it up and just moving it with my arm. But this one right here, I have to find a space for if I want to cut anything on this table. So, I'm getting spoiled. I think that's what it is. But I'm going to let y'all go. And I hope you do something you enjoy today. I hope you have fun. Something that brings you some happiness. I'm going to do a little bit of crafting, go out to eat, have a good dinner, hang out with family. So, I hope y'all have a great one. I'll see you later. Bye.